How much of your life is actually your choice? I feel like this is a really thought-provoking question and something to like for real look at and think about. Who do you live for? What do you live for? What is actually driving you to do the things you do on a daily basis? And what are you truly working towards when you're doing those things on that daily basis? I feel like a lot of us just blindly live so badly to the point where I don't even think motherfuckers realize who they're living for. Everybody wants to believe that they make their own decisions, which I mean, ultimately I would agree with, excluding extreme situations. But how many of your choices are heavily influenced by external factors that you're not even factoring, that might not even align with you? And what's even crazier, and honestly to me scarier, there's people who are completely aware that they don't live for themselves and that they let these external factors take over. But whether it's fear, doubt, societal pressure, they won't allow themselves to break free. So again, I ask, how much of your life do you truly think has been your choice? Are you really living for yourself, or are all these external pressures guiding your decisions? And yeah, I really want to talk about that question and dive deep in it. There's a lot of reasons for why people move the way they move. Like, this life shit is not black and white. In my opinion, it's hard to judge people for the decisions they make because we're literally all here for the first time. So this is more so for yourself. As this video progresses, I ask you to be honest with yourself and question, does this shit apply to me? Could I maybe be living a more fulfilling life than the one I'm living right now? If you think you're at your peak, shit man, this video not for you. But those who might struggle with this, you know what I'm saying, take notes, apply what you need, and strive to become better, because shit, what else are you gonna do? What shapes your unconscious reality? You know, the stuff that influences your thoughts, your perception, your actions, you know, things of that nature without you even really realizing it. You know what I'm saying? It's unconscious. Things like family and societal pressures and expectations. Is your idea of success really coming from you? Or have you been told what success is supposed to look like and you've been on that path? Not to say both ideas can't coexist, can't align with each other. You're not at war with your family or society, but I think it's important to take a step back and really think about whose idea of success are you living for? Not even just success. Whose idea of happiness are you living for? These pressures and expectations affect everything, bro. From how we move, from what career we're gonna go for. People will literally settle into their unhappiness if it means they get a thumbs up from their parents and like people around. Take that thumbs up as proof that they're doing the right thing. The right thing as in what? What they wanted you to do. Not even realizing that they might not be living according to their own desires. How many people are pursuing these prestigious ass careers? And honestly, it doesn't even have to be a prestigious one. An acceptable one, regardless of where their passion may lie. Or better yet, mold their desires and shape them into something that's more acceptable. Or, you know, they're convincing themselves that they're doing that. We're not fully bots. For the most part, people don't want to feel like they're not living for themselves. So they'll be like, you know, I like making people smile, making people feel good. So I decided to become a general fucking surgeon. Now, honestly, that right there, like molding your desires and shaping them, that's really not the worst shit in the world. Honestly, that's probably the best compromise you could come up with if you deeply care about family and societal pressures and expectations. If it is still hitting your you button, you honestly won, bro. You found a way to make yourself happy and everybody happy around you. Only you truly know if you're compromising, and if you're not, good, bro, W. And the only way to truly know that is by truly knowing yourself. Self-awareness and reflection is literally essential when figuring out what could drive you. Unfortunately, most people never take time to look inward and ask themselves what they really want, what their authentic self is asking for. And the reason for this, honestly, is really fucked up. In my opinion, just my personal experience of life, being and figuring out your authentic self is just not a priority for some reason. Everyone has their general interests, you know, the shit that they're into, but from literal birth, you're either told to mold it, don't pay heavy attention to it, head in them books, or you get caught in this new social media driven loop where people are literally just copy and paste of other people. And by the time you start realizing you're an actual human with an actual identity, it becomes hard to find it if it's not something you've been actively working on. Looking for yourself becomes scary, and then those pressures and expectations that come from these external factors are now what people are grasping for an identity. And it's a false identity, it's just what you have left. And again, like I said, if you're not actively working on this stuff, if you're not for real thinking about this shit, you will easily get caught in that loop and end up not living for yourself, not even truly knowing yourself. And like I said, it's a fucked world, bro. That's very liable to happen. But it's cool because sometimes it takes that understanding to truly grow. Recognize and then ask yourself, what type of life do you think you would live with zero eyes on you, no expectations, no pressure? Stripping away all those things, what matters to you at your core? When you're able to answer that honestly, you'll be able to see, is how I'm living really aligning with myself? If it is, again, whoopee. If not, you got some shit to think about. I ain't gonna lie. Is living for yourself worth it? What does it even mean and look like to live for yourself? And this is why I feel like balance really matters. Like I said, life isn't just black and white. The likelihood that you could just be your completely authentic self without having to give up anything, for a lot of people, that's pretty unrealistic. Like in my case, I'm on the whole opposite side of the spectrum. I do not want to do anything other than what I want to do. That's why I have 2 YouTube channels right now, trying to get both of them bitches busted, because I feel like it could provide a very authentic lifestyle for me. To the point point though where if I'm faced to have to do something I don't want to do, something that might not align with my authentic self but has to happen, just being completely honest with myself, I don't know how I'd be able to handle that. Nobody's perfect, but I believe we should all be striving for balance. I feel like that's the most healthy way of living. So yeah, say your passions, desires, whatever truly lies with your authentic self, say those things cannot support themselves. I feel like it is extremely necessary and essential to find some sort of outlet, figure out a comfortable and spacious space for you to be you. The reason I'm so critical of my work being something that I care about is because your work, your career is gonna be what you're doing like 80% of your life. If you're doing some shit that you do not give a fuck about for 80% of your life, you think that 20% is really gonna have that big of an effect? More than likely, you're gonna be too tired spending all that energy on the thing you're doing that was a result of external pressures to even really truly feed you and the things you actually care about in life. You're basically a robot with like a little bit of feeling, so not actually a robot. And you know that's good enough for you, or you think is good enough for you, until you either crash out or become completely numb. That's a big reason why I think your career choice should not solely be based on money, or like really heavily based on money. If you're not doing something that you even a little bit enjoy, you're trading your sanity for bread. Find balance, find a way to still be you. And if you're incapable at the moment, like you gotta do what you have to do right now. Do not accept your reality as is, whether you believe it or not, and it starts with you believing you can shape your life into what you want it to be. That'll be a whole nother video. I'm gonna talk about like manifestation and shit like that, cause it's real. But for right now, I'll just leave you with, you can live a life worth living that doesn't have to be for other people. Or even if it's not for other people, that doesn't have to be unsatisfactory, you know? I feel like as you get older, this definitely gets harder. If you've been living this way for like, I don't know, like fucking 40 years or some shit, man, I can only imagine how hard it is to like change shit like that. But for my youngins, like I'm 21, bro, we probably around the same age. Lock in, bro. You don't want to get stuck in a loop that you don't really have to be in. Find some sort of balance. To be free, to release the shackles of external pressure. It is not easy. You know what is easy, bro? Just folding into that shit. Not thinking for yourself, having other motherfuckers do it for you, and just literally living. That is the easiest shit you could ever do. Figuring out what you actually want for yourself and then working to have it. This world is not meant for that, bro. You end up walking on your own path where you have no other people. There's not a wave of niggas doing the exact same shit, because there's only one you. And if you let that fear of literally being an individual cloud your judgment and consume you, well, you'll see what it feels like to not be you. And if you're cool with that, bro, if you can learn to cope with it, go for it, bro. But for those who wish to live for themselves, let's recap what gotta happen. First, you gotta reflect. Look at your current choices and really see what are influencing them. How much of it is you and how much of it is the external factors. And the way to decipher that is to figure out who you are. What do you desire? What is truly important to you? What makes you happy? What are the things you enjoy in life? And then align or realign your decisions with your authentic desires. Keep it balanced, you know what I'm saying? Don't just do what you want to do and throw away all practicality, but also don't just do what you think is practical and throw away yourself. If you struggle with finding yourself, try to take a deep dive and look inward. I know that's like the most broad, general shit I could say, but that's like a whole nother video. And then the last thing I would say that I didn't really mention before, not everybody may be able to do this, but if you can or can at least try to, surround yourself around people that would be easy to be your authentic self around. Not enablers or yes men, but rather people who don't think there's an objective idea of success and happiness. People who understand that you are you, and whatever you want to do, you can do. Just work for it, bro. Nothing comes easy. Like I said, finding people like that, you know, that's not easy. So if you can't really drill that mindset in your head so you can be that person for yourself. And yeah, bro, we live in a world where being yourself is not truly encouraged unless it aligns with everybody else's ideology. And all I'm saying is, bro, challenge that thought, man. You know what I'm saying? See if that has to be the case, or maybe it doesn't. Figure out what's best for you.